Hello teachers, this is the video for the younger children, kindergarten and younger, and the title is God Planned for Families. And the life point is that God planned for families to care for His world. So we know that God created families to exist from the beginning. It wasn't something man-made. Marriage wasn't something instituted by society and culture, but it is what God created for mankind to be a blessing to us and to show us unity. We'll go through chapters 1 through 4 as it says in the scripture reference, and I'll add chapter 2 as a helpful reference. So in chapter 1 it says, "So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female." So God is equating us being created in the image of God to us being male and female. So there is some mystery, definitely, but one of the aspects which make us image God is the maleness and femaleness. And this is critical for us as humanity. This is what made us very good, because before there was Eve, Adam was not, it was not good for Adam. And us being created in the image of God is a mystery. But one of the keys is the ability to have a loving relationship with God and one another. God is a perfect loving relationship in the Trinity. God is love. This is the only adjective that is equated with God. God is just, not God is justice. God is powerful, but God is not power. But God is love, and He is loving because He is love, because He exists in a perfect loving relationship. Then it says, God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that crawls on the earth." So it's not a command to fulfill out of duty, but a blessing given to be fruitful and multiply and rule. The part of the blessing is to multiply, which is to make our family bigger through children. We are created in the image to love God and to love one another, especially in a marriage. And we are blessed in that marriage to be fruitful and multiply. In chapter 2, Adam says, "This one at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman, for she was taken from man. This is why man leaves his father and mother and bonds with his wife, and they become one flesh. Both the man and his wife were naked, yet felt no shame." So there is this description. They become one flesh, and two becomes one. This is a picture of the Trinity, a picture of a loving unity, of serving and submitting and leading. Even in the Trinity, the Son submits to the Father, and they serve and honor one another. Chapter 3 says, "This man named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all the living." This is clear that marriage is instituted from creation. It wasn't created by society or culture. It is created by God to perfect our relationships with one another. And chapter 4 says, "The man was intimate with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, 'I have had a male child with the Lord's help.' She also gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel became a shepherd of flocks, but Cain worked the ground." So the family unit comes through marriage, which is a one flesh union. Then children are added to the family as a blessing. So we see in the beginning chapters of Genesis that God instituted, God planned for families to exist. This was part of His design. And the world tries to change it or break it apart or use it as they like, whether it be through same-sex marriage or otherwise. But we also have, through sin, there are broken families, whether it was through sickness, one of the spouses had to leave earlier, or whether it was through other reasons like divorce. But family was planned to be used by God to take care of His world, but also reflect the image of God through loving one another. What we can teach the children is that our families is not a coincidence. It was planned by God, and we are to work together to love one another, but ultimately to help one another love God more, because family is easy to take for granted and easy to hurt one another deeply, but it is also where we experience the deepest love.